Take a deep breath and hold it. Because where we are going, air is a forgotten memory. We are leaving the sun-drenched world above. At 100 meters, the light begins to fade. At 1,000 meters, absolute darkness swallows all color. And as we touch down, 4,000 meters beneath the surface of the Atlantic, we have entered an alien planet. Here, the crushing pressure is 400 times greater than the atmosphere at sea level. It is the equivalent of carrying a heavy truck upon your shoulders every second of every day. A silent, frozen tomb, holding steady at a frigid 2 degrees Celsius. By all biological laws, this should be a wasteland. But nature abhors a vacuum. Listen closely. Beneath the low, terrestrial rumble of the ocean floor, the Earth is breathing. Before us stand the black smokers, towering chimneys of the underworld. From these geological cannons, superheated water, black with heavy metals and toxins, erupts violently. Temperatures here soar to 400 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead in an instant. It is a violent paradox, the hottest water meeting the coldest depths. And precisely at this intersection of extremes, a miracle occurs. Look closer. That is not snow falling on the seabed. That is life. Millions, billions of creatures carpet these vertical cliffs. They jostle, they stack, they form a living, trembling skin over the rock. Welcome to the most densely populated metropolis on the planet, the kingdom of the Rimicaris shrimp. In this chaotic swarm, meet White Spot. He is a typical citizen of this subterranean city. White Spot has no eyes. In the eternal darkness of evolution, sight became obsolete long ago. But do not pity him. Nature is a fair trader. In place of eyes, White Spot possesses a massive sensory organ on his back, a thermal eye. To White Spot, the world is not made of shapes, but of energy gradients. To his left, the freezing grip of death. To his right, the incinerating fires of hell. And he, along with millions of his kin, lives precariously on the razor's edge between them. Look at how they move. This frantic crowding is not accidental. It is a collective hunger. But what do they eat? At this depth, there is no sunlight to drive photosynthesis, no algae, no green pastures. This ocean is a nutritional desert. What fuels this sprawling empire? The answer lies on White Spot's own body. He is not a hunter, he is a diligent farmer. Magnify the lens 1,000 times. Under that smooth carapace, specifically on his chest and legs, lies a dense forest of bristles. And clinging to them are billions of filamentous bacteria. White Spot carries his own farm on his back. It is nature's perfect symbiotic contract. The bacteria need chemicals, primarily sulfides, from the vents to synthesize energy. White Spot needs the bacteria for food. Therefore, the farmer must bring his fields to the fertilizer. And so, the dance begins. Watch White Spot. He advances, slowly, cautiously. The thermal sensor on his back screams a warning. The water warms. 20 degrees, 30 degrees, 60. He is inching toward a 350-degree jet stream. A single erratic current, a slip of a claw, and he will be boiled alive in a fraction of a second. He stands there, on the precipice, allowing the mineral-rich, toxic water to wash over his bacterial garden. The bacteria feast on the poison, turning it into organic matter. But he cannot stay long. It is too hot. He must retreat to the cold to cool his core, then advance again, then retreat. A rhythmic, dangerous waltz. Millions of shrimp performing this motion create a shimmering wave under the submersible's lights. When the harvest is ready, when the bacterial layer is thick, White Spot uses his delicate claws to scrape the crop and bring it to his mouth. He eats his companions. Here, life is forged from poison and courage. But heat is not the only enemy stalking the shadows. The prosperity of this shrimp city, the scent of life in such abundance, travels far, awakening the monsters of the deep. From the pitch-black periphery, where the vent's glow cannot reach, a massive silhouette emerges. The Austinogria crab, the tank of the abyss. If the shrimp are agile dancers, these crabs are armored siege engines. Pale, blind, yet possessing a terrifyingly acute sense of smell and touch. They smell the crowd. They feel the vibration of thousands of tiny legs churning the water. The atmosphere shifts. The swarm shudders. Panic spreads like an electric current. But in a density of 2,000 individuals per square meter, there is nowhere to run. They are gridlocked between their kin and the scalding rock. The predator advances, slow, ruthless. It has no need for speed. White Spot is trapped on the outer rim, the most vulnerable position. He feels the heavy tremors approaching. His tiny heart hammers against his shell. A claw sweeps down, a snap, violent and final. The sound of crushing armor is lost in the roar of the volcano. A neighbor, inches from White Spot, is taken. The crab dismantles its prey with casual brutality amidst the crowd. Bodily fluids dissolve into the black water, a dinner bell for the scavenging anemones waiting on the rocks. Buffeted by the current, White Spot loses his footing, tumbling toward the enemy. The bloody claw swings again, aiming directly for him. In this moment of life and death, time stands still. There is no thought, only an ancient instinct kicks in, a violent snap of the tail, the charadoid escape reaction. He shoots backward, slicing through the thermal currents. He escapes. But the cost is a severed antenna. White Spot lands in a cold, unfamiliar crevice, gasping. He has lost his prime feeding ground. He has lost a sensory limb, but he breathes. And down here, breathing is the only victory that matters. Time in the deep is not measured in days, but in cycles of existence. White Spot is old now. His once pristine shell is scarred and pitted, stained with the black mineral dust of the volcano. He wears the history of a survivor, but his greatest mission remains unfinished. The breeding season has arrived. White Spot, now carrying the future of his species, faces a dilemma. The toxic, hot water he loves is lethal to his offspring. To give the next generation a chance, parents like him must undertake a painful migration. They abandon the food source. They abandon the warmth. They climb the spires, moving away from the vents into the cold, oxygen-rich void. The cold slows their metabolism, weakening them, but it is the only way the eggs will hatch. The moment arrives. White Spot releases his larva into the black currents. Thousands of microscopic, transparent specks, drifting like stardust in a watery universe. Where will they go? It is a grand and lonely odyssey. These larvae will drift for hundreds, perhaps thousands of kilometers. They survive on meager energy reserves, dodging the gaping maws of deep-sea fish. The survival rate is 1 in a million, but it only takes one. Just one, guided by a chemical blueprint in its DNA, to catch the scent of sulfur from a new vent forming across the ocean, to descend, to metamorphose, and to build a new empire. As for White Spot, he has no strength left to return to the heat. His energy is spent. On the abyssal plane, even volcanoes have a lifespan. When the plumbing beneath the crust clogs, the fire dies. The city collapses. The old veterans, like White Spot, lay down their burdens. His body, once nourished by the earth, now returns to it. He becomes marine snow, feeding the scavengers of the floor. A quiet end to a violent life. But look into the distance. In the vast darkness, a new glow ignites. A fresh hydrothermal vent has awakened. A cloud of juvenile shrimp, White Spot's descendants, is gathering. They begin the dance on the razor's edge. They begin to farm on the lip of death. Life is a flame that refuses to go out. Even here, in the darkest, most pressurized, most toxic place on the planet, life finds a way. This is the enduring symphony of the abyss.